Hi everybody, it's Katie. Today, Baby Doll and I are going to talk about solid food introduction and how to tell if she's ready. So one of the first ways is this. Is she interested in what you're doing? Is she grabbing at everything in sight? She is. So we figured she was ready. So stick with us and we're going to talk about some of the very first things that we gave to her, some of her first solid foods and how to prepare them. So the big question is, when do I introduce solid foods to my baby? I think first and foremost, that's something that you should probably talk with your pediatrician about. I mean, I think that's always something, it's always safe before you do anything new with the baby. Talk to your pediatrician, do your research. I think most things out there, most things that you are going to read on the internet and most pamphlets are going to tell you right around 6 months is a safe time to start. You don't want to start too early because babies' tummies are probably not ready to deal with solid food. They've got to mature a little bit. Although I have heard of babies starting as early as 4 months. So again, that's where it's going to be handy to talk with your pediatrician about what's best for your particular circumstance. That being said, with both of my daughters, I started right around 6 months. That's when I noticed the most interest. So I knew that it was a safe time. 6 months is a safe time per my pediatrician. So I knew it was safe, and I was starting to notice there is a lot of interest from the little ones. So I'm holding the baby and I'm eating food and they're kind of going like this. Each bite I put in my mouth and their mouth's kind of like that. So when they start to notice that you're doing something like eat and they want to be a part of it, that's a good time to think, okay, well, maybe we should start to introduce solid foods. Or in the case of my youngest, if I'm in the kitchen preparing food and she's in the living room sitting in her bouncer, she will literally, when she knows I'm in here making food, or if I give her sister a plate of food, she will literally start screeching at me. And it's not a distressed cry, it's a, hey, I want in on that action. So those are probably some pretty good signs. If they start grabbing at your fork while you're eating, or they're watching you, or they're yelling at you while you're making food, those are all good signs that they're probably ready to start trying stuff out. The first thing I want to talk to you about as far as solid food introduction is a pear. One of the main reasons that pears was on the list of our starter foods is because it's kind of helps with aiding digestion and doesn't cause constipation. Apples, you would think, apples is one of those things that everybody's like, oh, let's start with apples or homemade applesauce, and that's fun. And I didn't really know that with my first one. I didn't know that it actually can kind of cause things to slow down in their little tummies. And so that's one of the reasons that we start with pears, is because it helps move things along. So what you want to do with the pear is you want to peel it and then chop it in 4 and core it. Make sure you get all the junk out. And then you're going to put it in your steamer over here and you're going to steam it until soft. And you can, if you want it a little chunkier, you can do that. Or if you want to start with a true puree, then you can go ahead and steam it all the way down till it's really soft. Don't throw away your pear water, because another thing that we're going to talk about today is millet in lieu of rice cereal. But you can use the water that you use to steam your pears into cut with the millet, because it's going to need water, so you could use that. So you're getting a little bit of nutrients there from the steamed down pear water, and then you're also putting your liquid in there. So it's like 2 birds with 1 stone. So yeah, that's what we're going to start with, and I'm going to go ahead and get that all set up. We'll be right back. Okay guys, so the next thing I want to talk about on our solid food introduction for babies is millet. It's a grain, and you can kind of see it here. Little tiny yellow circular grain. It's a gluten-free grain. I like it. I chose to go with millet because it's gluten-free and it has more nutritional value than just plain white rice cereal. And the other thing is, when I've noticed, at least with my first, was when I started introducing solid food, their little tummies have to figure out what to do with that. And so if you have a regular everyday pooper, it's probably going to slow down, and you're probably going to notice your baby's going to stop pooping, and that's kind of scary when you're a mama and your baby just stops pooping. So anyway, that's why I didn't go with rice and decided to go with something like millet, is because it's not quite as binding and it's a little bit more nutritious. However, I will tell you, whatever carb you want to give your baby, do some research into what you're most comfortable with. I like millet, you might not. There's other options, but I decided to go with millet. So for the millet preparation, I have a baby bullet. It's made by the Magic Bullet, and I love it. But I have the baby bullet here, and this is the little container we'll use. And you'll notice the type of blade. This is for actually designed for grains and for breaking them down. And so what you're going to do is you're going to dump however much millet you want in here and put it in here, push the button, get it going until you get a fine powder. And I'll show you a picture or a video, whichever one we can fit in there. I'll show you how it works and what it's going to look like, and then you're going to prepare it pretty much just like you would rice cereal. You're going to take your powder out of here, and if you save, like we talked about a few minutes ago, if you save your pear water, then you can use that to cook your millet with. So that's going to be the preparation for the millet. Another thing I want to talk about is avocados. I probably don't need to convince many of you about the nutritional benefits of avocado, because I think it's pretty well known, but see for yourself, Google it if you'd like. But avocados are a pretty great thing to start with. I think that's actually the very first thing my oldest daughter had. And I think actually it's the first thing that my youngest had as well. Just because it's easy, it's soft, they're delicious, and they're pretty full of nutrients. They're good for you. Good fats. And that's another thing that you want too as you're starting to introduce solid foods, is you want to make sure you have healthy fats for your baby. So the preparation for avocados is pretty simple. All you're really going to do is chop it open, take the seed, throw it away, scoop out the contents, and put it on a plate and mash it up. I added salt because I'm in the camp of why feed your baby boring food, but you can do whatever you want. That's, again, another preference. But I added salt, and they both really like avocados, which is awesome because as my oldest has kind of gone through her picky eating stuff, I can always get her to eat avocado, so I don't feel so bad because I can get something green on her plate. So that avocados, I'm a huge fan of avocados. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching our video today. I'd like to encourage you to check out our channel. We have almost 40 videos about mommyhood and babies and all kinds of stuff relating to the journey of motherhood, or I should say parenthood in general. So we'd love for you to check out our channel and subscribe, and click like on our videos if you like them. We also have a Facebook page and a blog that we would love for you to check out and start joining in on the conversations with us. So hope you guys are doing well. Best of luck in your solid food feeding for the babies. Have a good rest of your day.